Welcome to the Vivo Barefoot Health Broadcast. My name is Ben and I am a barefoot movement coach. In today's session, we're going to unleash our big toe. So this is all about foot and forefoot big toe mobility. Let's crack in. Just start by saying, if you haven't done, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Lots more sessions with other mobility experts coming on here soon. Enjoy. Comment, like, let us know what you'd like to see. Let's start with mobilizing our feet. So take a pew, sit down, and let's mobilize our big toes. So bending them down, bending them back up. How much range have you got in your big toe? Can you pull it out away from the other toes? Squish it in, back towards the other toes. Many of us have been wearing shoes with narrow toe boxes, so our feet, our toes are squished together already. But we can help to unsquish them by squishing them and pulling them out. So the first bit is, can we manually create that range of motion with our other hand? So, can we just move and mobilize our big toes? And this is before we move towards coordination, where we'll actually move them ourselves. So big toe down, big toe back, big toe in, big toe out. We can also twist it in the socket, and we can pull it out of its socket and mobilize it around. So we're just communicating with and reconnecting with our big toes. Let's do the other one now too. Let's twist it. So we're diagonally twisting it in its socket and then pulling it out. Pulling it out away from your heel. Okay, so down, up, in, out, twist, pull. Okay, and yes, really important to do these exercises every couple of days if they are new to you. So first a bit of mobilization, then some coordination. Can we pin our big toe down and lift the other ones up? And vice versa. If you struggle with that, lift them all up. Just try and slowly pin your big toe down, or the little toes down. Actively try and spread them all up in the air, and then very slowly bringing them back down. Now this is all about enhancing our transition back to healthy feet and movement. So of course the number one thing, just keep lifting your feet up, your toes up, spread them, let them back down. The number one thing that we can do, the biggest influence that we're going to have on the health and function of our feet, is the footwear that we use, which is why Vivo Barefoot, wide, thin, flexible, have been shown, keep doing the toe exercises, have been shown to not only improve balance and postural stability with older people like myself, even those who've had falls. You also get strength gains. Just from wearing Vivos, you will improve your toe flexor strength. We did a study and that showed that students increased their toe flexor strength by 58.7% just in 6 months of wearing Vivo. So wearing Vivo is going to actively help you to regenerate the form and function, the strength and mobility in your feet. You can enhance that transition by doing these exercises. This is the point. So if we reconnect with our toe now, perhaps our big toe will work a bit more when we are walking, and we will help to regenerate the strength in our toes if we're connected with them more in our normal daily activity. Okay. The other one that we can do is squish them together, squish, 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 and then splay them apart. Squish, 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 try not to claw them, just straight together and splay them apart. Again, it is natural for us to have feet which are widest at the toes. Of course, some of us are going to have wider feet, some of us are going to have narrower feet, but it is not natural for for feet to be narrower at the toes. This is only because of footwear. Okay. All right, so squish and splay. All right, another one that we can do. If you're having trouble with those, you can use a sock, and you can pop a sock. So we're going to I'm going to double that fold around my big toe to keep the sock in place, and then I'm just going to weave that sock in between my toes like that. There we go. Let's do the other side. So this is just a gentle splaying of your toes. Of course, there are wonderful things like correct toes and other toe spacers. The Foot Collective have their silicone ones. So this is just a slightly, and you can wear those toe spacers inside your Vivo barefoot wear because they are wide enough to do so. Got a bit of a funny wing going on here with my sock. So yeah, just it's a beautiful thing. You've got your socks tied in between your toes. This is helping to splay them a little. And then we're just going to practice lifting our heel up with our toes splayed. So of course, again, because of narrow toe boxed footwear, a lot of the time we're lifting our heel into a squished toe box, and this is just a reawakening of our toes, of what it's like to actually be dynamic in movement and be splayed. So just lifting our heel while splaying our toes. Yeah, and same on the other side. Lift the heel and keeping your toes splayed. And you can do each of these exercises for 2 to 5 minutes. We're going to go through them a bit quicker now, but as you're watching this back, pause it, take your time. And that'll just encourage you to feel what it's like to move and walk with slightly splayed toes. Yeah? Okay. Practice that in your own good time. Okay, let's do another little one now to work on. So that is, helping to improve the range in the ball of our feet. Now let's think about our ankles. So a great exercise are these step backs, as it were. So we're just going to sit back onto that back ankle, trying to allow my knee to go over my toes, and just work on that ankle range. So can I get my knees over my toes, sit back, get my glutes working, allow my knee to come over my foot. Can we feel it in our shin? Let's come forward, and we can also rock forward and a nice little crack there. Just do some flexion in our toes. And then back. So just going to do a few more of these. Sit back, sit back. Allow your knee to come over your toes. So we're feeling that full range. We're engaging the shin muscle to bring the knee over the foot. And let's lift up and tuck over. Now I recommend doing 10 of these on each side. So I'm just going to swap round to the other side. Get down low. Allowing that knee to come over the foot. Using our glutes. quads. And hopefully you can feel it in your shin as well, bringing your knee over your foot. And then let's just release. Extension in the balls of our feet and flexion. Just bending the big toes over and underneath. Cool. Go for another one. Sit back. As I said, we're just doing 2 of these on each side, but go for, or 2 or 3 maybe on the other side. Go for 10 in your time. Pause the video. Carry on. Get into it. Can you feel that shin muscle working? Bring your knee over your foot. Ranging the balls of our big toes. And flexion. Over the front. Right, so adding a bit of strength into the mobility there as well. All right, now let's go some more squishing and splaying. So this time we're just going to go even slower with it. So squish my toes together, then going to lift them up, splay them as wide as I can, and then bring them back down to the floor again. Squish, squish, squish. Lift them up. Splay, and then back down again. So let's just do some squish and splay on the floor. And the actual act of squishing the toes together does help to splay them as well. So even though many of the toes are squished, it's still a good idea to squish them some more because they are passively squished rather than actively. So they're just being deformed by being pushed together rather than you actually controlling that movement and being able to bring them together. Okay, so again, lifting toes up as high as we can, splay them out. Can you get your little toes out as well? Making me pull a funny face. Okay, there we go. Little toes out and all the way down. Spread, spread, spread. Okay, now we've got a little exercise that's definitely not going to be into the Olympics, but it's a good exercise to help us just improve that strength in our feet. So what we're going to do is just do a little snail move where, if you can see, I'm just going to scrunch my toes to very slowly move across the mat. So I'm just exaggerating now, just showing you what it looks like. But we're going to do that 2-footed and actually just move across the mat. So I recommend doing this, if you haven't done it before, just do it for 30 seconds to a minute. 30 seconds is enough to begin with, because you should find, and try and use your big toe more than the others. The big toe is 4 times as strong and 4 times as dense, or rather it has the opportunity to be if we use it. If we shove it into a narrow toe box, not only will it become deformed, out of place, you actually, by squishing the toes together, you lose a lot of blood flow. And if you lose the blood flow, then of course the muscles are going to become weaker and weaker and even potentially not work at all. So this is why it's really important to go back to those mobilizing your toe exercises at the beginning and just manually move your toes and start to resist against that movement with your foot muscles. Here we go. So the Olympics, it's the it's the snail toe race or something. What's a wonderful name for this? Toe scrunches across the floor. Wow. Big shout out to Stacey Morris at the Physio Fix on Insta. I'm sure we'll be coming and doing a YouTube for us as well. Her Instagram, IGTVs, Stacey's that are on the YouTube, sorry, that are on the Vivo Insta are absolutely fantastic. We'll be doing more. We are lucky to have so many amazing medical professionals who support Vivo, and of course, why wouldn't they? It makes sense. Wide, thin, flexible footwear that doesn't get in the way of the natural function of the human foot. I hope you're having fun doing this. I'm going on. If 30 seconds was enough and your feet are cramping, relax there. I've clearly done more than a minute. I like it. You can really feel it working the intrinsics in your feet. I can feel it in my arches. I can feel it all the way through my feet. You know. So after we've done that, it's a lovely idea to just do some kneeling where we can ease out some of those muscles we were just using. So let's go for, can we kneel on the floor with our toes tucked underneath like this. This should be a nice, relaxing, comfortable position. Of course, that's contingent upon you having enough range in the ball of your big toe to do so. If you don't and it's painful, you can either put a cushion under your feet or just take a step back to here where you lift your heel as high as you can without the ball of your big toe coming off the floor, and just work on that range, rocking with the range to tune in and allow it to release. And adding a bit of resistance, pushing your big toe in the floor will also help to increase that range of motion. If you are comfortable kneeling down, awesome. The key bit here is that feet are pointing straight up. We're not winging out to the sides because that's going to enable us to get around the range in the ball of our big toe. So feet pointing straight up. And then we can do the same and tuck our toes all the way underneath and sit back and relax. And again, if that one is tough for you, you can put a cushion underneath your feet. If it's too easy, then rock back onto your forefeet, and then you'll feel that up into your ankles and shins as well. Tuck toes underneath. Same, if this is nice and comfortable, then you can get into rocking backwards. And also engaging your toes into the floor so you can be working on their strength as well. Okay, so that's a quick Unleash Your Big Toe session. We'll be back for more connection, coordination and strength sessions soon. Please be sure to subscribe, like and check out the other sessions on the Vivo Barefoot YouTube channel.